Hello, everyone. I'm Hannah.
And I'm Emily.
And we are the hosts of the I Don't Think So podcast. Each episode, we discuss a different story, theory, or mystery and decide if we think it's believable or if we really don't think so.
Here at the I Don't Think So podcast, we are affiliated with Flurry Sports. And we present our favorite theories, stories, and mysteries on your favorite place to listen to podcasts every single Wednesday. If you like what you hear, go ahead and give us a like, a share, and why don't you follow us on all of our socials at I Don't Think So _EH, or you can check us out on YouTube at IDTS Conspiracies.
Are we sounding a little different?
We got some new microphones off of TikTok Shop.
Love a good TikTok shop.
So for those of you who didn't know, we had this big blue snowball microphone that has been through the ringer. The stand
we
really
started with two,
went down to one.
The first day I got the white one, Jake dropped it in a parking lot.
Yep. Courtesy to our Flurry Sports brothers. They were the ones who gave us those microphones. And the blue one, the stand hasn't worked the entire time we've had it.
Mm-mm.
So it's usually leaning on a stack of pillows in the middle of us. So we thought we would try.
We're taking the curtains away. You're seeing us. We really are.
This is what we are. This is who we are. So we got clip-on microphones. So let us know. We did test them several times. So let us know if you like the way they sound, or if you're like, go back to the snowball. We'll give that a try
it picked up a Dan cough from across the room. So.
Yeah, right. But it didn't really pick us any shuffling. So
we'll see.
Let us know.
Well, we're in the month of April. Woo! The weather's getting better.
Thank God.
We're starting to feel alive again. Our sense of humor is coming back.
My seasonal sads is leaking from my body.
And so Emily graced us with some lovely first date Reddit stories.
I did.
And I wanted to bring back to like my tried and true, like the first story I ever read on Reddit that I remember was a whole thread about roommates.
Oh, really?
And so...
What led you down that rabbit hole?
I think someone from... I didn't really get into Reddit till like college. I don't know when Reddit came out.
No, I didn't get into it until like late college, to be honest with you.
I don't remember, but I think someone posted or showed me a post that someone from like Superior posted and was like, this is about so-and-so.
Oh.
And I was trying to find the original post. Couldn't find it. But I'm like, it would still be fun to do like roommate stories.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Off of Reddit. And then if you think of any of your own good roommate stories that you feel like you want to share, or if there's too much confidentiality issues,
you may know who you are.
That's fine. But otherwise, we've got some good ones from other people. So perfect. So here are a few of my favorites that I read through today. So this was posted a year ago. I was in college, living in a suite-style apartment, 4 bedrooms with a private bath, shared living space, and a shared kitchen. My friend rented a room, and I had a room, and we got 2 randoms assigned to us. After a few months, our places started to increasingly smell worse, and we couldn't figure out what was going on. We deep cleaned, bleached everything, but could not find the source. Only thing we didn't do was go through our 2 randoms' rooms. One day, one of the randoms went home for the weekend. My buddy and I broke into his room and discovered the source.
Oh, no.
This dude was shitting in plastics bins and keeping it under his bed. What? After a big what the fuck moment, we disposed of it and confronted him. He, of course, denied it all and claimed he never did such a thing.
What do you mean?
After several days, the smell went away and never came back. Poop Bucket is now a cop.
Why are we pooping in buckets?
I don't know.
And why are we keeping it?
So it's like, I would understand if it was like an emergency. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I can't make it to the ensuite bathroom.
Well, like maybe someone's in there and you're like, I'm waking up, or like you wake up in the middle of the night, I'm gonna shit myself.
Okay.
But like throw it away immediately.
Right. Or I could maybe, even if you're like, I have a phobia of flushing toilets. And like you're like, I can't do toilets. So what I do is I shit in a bucket. You know what you do?
You throw
away the bucket.
Right. Like I could understand if it was like an emergency or that, or there's so many reasons why at some point you have to shit in a bucket. Like,
yeah,
I haven't gotten to that.
I haven't hit that emergency.
But I'm not putting it out of
the realm of the possibility.
Realm of possibilities in my life, because as soon as I say it's never going to happen,
I'm going to shit in a bucket.
I'm going to shit in the bucket.
But to keep it
under your bed
and have more than one
long enough for it to smell, for it, like they said, it was going on for like a long time,
like weeks.
Yeah, after a few months, our places started to increasingly smell worse and worse.
I genuinely want to understand this person who's like, wasn't me. What do you mean it wasn't you? It's in your room. Your room smells like shit, and there's human shit under your bed.
And like,
what do you mean it wasn't you?
You know, plausible deniability. I don't blame him for being like, gaslight the motherfucker out of them. Like, guys, not me. I don't know how this poop got there.
You shit under my bed?
Wow. I just don't know how we got to this point.
Well, can you also imagine coming home from your vacation and like having a secret, having your dirty little secret, and then like you come home and you're like,
the thing too. You left on vacation with it there?
He probably thought there's no way that they're gonna go digging in my room. And it's like, excuse you, the first thing I'm doing as soon as you leave is trying to figure out why our apartment smells so horrific.
But also, why wasn't the other random also being like, dude, why does it smell like shit in here?
Smells like absolute dog shit. Literal human shit.
Literal shit.
Oh my god, I can't even imagine being that person's roommate and being like, it reeks. I don't know why it reeks.
Right.
But it reeks. And I've been there, like, with roommates and stuff with cleaning, and you're like, it has to be cleaned, otherwise it smells and we get mold and whatever. But to then be like, okay, I finally figured it out. It's you pooping in buckets and putting it under your bed.
I just can't.
Poop in a garbage? Like, I would rather you poop in a garbage bag and then, like, throw it out like a dog.
That's what I'm saying. There's so many other options of, like, things you could have done.
I'd rather you poop on the floor and pick it up like a dog.
Immediately. Yeah. So that's where we're starting today. That's the vibes of today.
I love it. I can't wait. I can wholeheartedly say never had that experience.
Same. Next. In my first year at university, I was randomly matched with my roommate. We were friends for the first 3 months. I went home one weekend, and usually before I leave, I clean my side of the room as well with any weekly chores.
Nice.
I came back to my room after the weekend and saw that my side of the dorm was completely messed up. My bed was distraught. There were crumbs all over my desk. My bins had been tampered with. I was confused because I knew I cleaned it. I asked my roommate at the time if she had people over and messed up my room. She denied it. That night, I texted my mom saying I'm pretty sure she used my side, which is fine as long as it's cleaned after. I was ranting to my mom about how it's wrong and she should have been a better roommate and owned up to it. I then cleaned up the mess because she refused to clean the mess she quote-unquote didn't make and went to bed. For the next few weeks, she stopped talking to me completely. Throughout the weeks, I would text my mom and friends about the situation and how it's weird. A mutual friend of mine and the roommate had asked me if we, my roommate and I, were still not talking. I had said no. She stopped talking to me after I went home that weekend. He told me the truth. My roommate for months had been waiting until I fall asleep, taking my thumb and using it to open my iPhone and reading all of my messages.
Huh?
He told me that she stopped talking to me because of the messages I would send to my mom/friends. The mutual friend only told me then because he witnessed it, and she said, it's fine, she's a heavy sleeper. And I thought it was wrong. I couldn't believe it. One night after a mutual friend told me, I decided to see if she'd do it again. I had a coffee and, quote, fell asleep. When she thought I was sleeping, I felt her do it and snooped through my phone for 20 minutes. After that, I went to the residential office and switched rooms. She's denied this ever since, and that was the last time I saw her. She ended up dropping out of school the following year.
Why?
Isn't that crazy?
Why? Why are we doing this? Like, is she enough with you? Like,
I don't know.
That's bold. I mean, I know I'm not a very heavy sleeper.
Sure.
But like,
I feel like I could probably like use my finger to open my eyes.
But like, how do you get that idea of like, I want to know what she's talking about?
Well, and the thing is, to me, it's like she's probably been doing it for a while.
Oh God, yeah.
And then just got mad because of the one instance of that happening.
Yeah, the reason she stopped talking to you is because you shit talked her to your mom. That's the only reason she stopped talking to you. Because before that, she was like, damn, I love my roommate. She never talked shit about me to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Also, girl, like, Snapchat people.
Right? I don't know.
Snapchat is not my main form of communication. Mm-hmm. Can you believe it or not? If you've sent me anything in the last, like, 2 weeks, I'm sorry, I haven't looked. Okay. But how crazy. Also, for her to be so brazen to, like, do it in front of other people.
Mm-hmm.
To be like, she's a heavy sleeper, she won't care.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, not only did it happen, but you're doing, like, if you did it in front of this one friend, I'm sure she's done it in front of other people.
Also, I want to know, like, did you just have someone over? Like, just tell me what happened.
Right. If there's crumbs and stuff, just, like, clean it up.
Right. Well, because, like, that's where, like, I thought she was going to be like, I switched rooms because she told me she didn't have anybody over and she clearly had someone over. I was going to be like,
that's
I think we're taking this a little, like, it's, I understand, like, it's your stuff. You don't want people, like, sleeping in your bed, maybe, or, like, using your shit. But,
well,
like,
it's fair to be annoyed for her to say, like,
I wish you would just tell me.
Right, but, like, I 100% would have texted my mom and been like, I'm just annoyed that she, like, refused to clean it up and blah, blah, blah. Like, and she used my stuff and, like, didn't clean it up.
Or, like, then lied to me about it. Like, just say, like, oh, yeah, sorry, I did have a couple people over. I didn't realize they, like, messed your shit up.
Mm-hmm.
Also, how long is it going to take for you to clean some crumbs off?
Yeah, it's, like, not that big. Oh, that's what she said. It wasn't that big of a deal, but she just, like, lied about it and then refused to clean it up.
Yeah. So it's just, that's weird.
Yeah.
She sounds like a weirdo through and through. I'm glad they let you switch rooms because sometimes that's like a beast and a half.
Yeah, for sure. Especially, and maybe it was like easier because there was openings and stuff, but wow.
Well, like, what do you say? Like, you go in and you're like, we need to switch rooms. I'm like, why? And you're like, she is waiting till I fall asleep to then use my fingerprint to go through my phone
messages. Mm-hmm.
Every night.
Insane.
Well, you know she's doing it frequently. Like, she has to be doing it almost every night, if not every night, because, like, the second she's like, oh, I'll put a trap in for her,
it didn't take that long. Yeah.
She fake fell asleep once, and she
also for her to go through her phone for 20 minutes.
What are you looking for?
She's digging. Like, you have to go through the messages, through the Snapchats, through the photos, through, like, everything.
Huh.
Weird.
That is weird.
Here's a short one, like, kind of funny.
Love.
It says, kind of tame, but my roommate and her boyfriend would very loudly watch car races on the other side of the wall, knowing I was cramming for my college chemistry finals.
Oh.
Still mad at her 25 years later. Like, you know, I get it. Ow. Because you get to those points when you're living with people where it's like, is it that big of a deal? No, but am I going to remember this for the next 30 years and not forgive you? 100%.
Absolutely. When it's like, you know, when you're studying, you're already stressed, you're already tired, you probably haven't gotten good sleep, you're not eating good food because you're in fucking college, right. And then you're like, and you have the audacity to listen to fucking cars go meow for like hours.
You're trying to study.
I'm telling you, I would commit crimes.
I would too, because you know it's like you're so like already so intense because you're trying to study for this that it's like it's the little things
that just
grind the gears,
get you like to the edge of I'm going to murder you. That happened to me in like I would usually go to the library to study because I habitually was like, I can study in my dorm, can't study in my dorm.
No.
Suddenly I'm on my phone. I'm watching TV. I'm digging through the mini fridge. I'm looking at outfits. I'm like, oops, how bad.
Mhm.
I made my bed twice. And it's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So I usually would go to the library, and I sat next to this one person, and my headphones died. Kill me. And I was on the silent floor, and this person next to me kept like, I had to get up and move. I was like, nose.
And it's like, I get you're sick. I get like you need to like blow your nose, but then go blow your nose.
Well, and I've also been that person that's like, when I'm sick and you're like, I have to sniffle one more time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where you're like, I'm gonna kill myself if I sniffle. But also, it was like an hour of
or like you don't want to blow your nose super loud because you're on the silent floor, but then like go to the bathroom.
There's so many options, and I was ready to like
It's like you want to passive aggressively hand them a tissue.
I'm already almost crying because calculus is killing me, and you sniffle coughing, not helping.
No. Oh, funny. Okay. I've got another one.
Oh, good.
I've got. Is it 3 more? Ooh. Yep.
All right.
Yeah, 3 more. Okay. So, my last roommate told me that he could never trust me again because I promised over a year ago before I wouldn't get a cat since he was getting a cat. At the time, I had 2 rats, and after they died, I had no plans on getting any other pets.
Right.
Then one day a cat showed up on my stoop. He waited and yelled for me every day.
Oh.
I got to the point where I took him to a shelter, hoping he'd get adopted, though instead they TNR'd him and he came right back. At this point, I just accepted fate and talked to my roommates about letting me bring this little guy inside. They agreed. My wrong here was bringing him in without making a plan and just bringing him in one day. I made sure introductions were done properly. I spent like a month carefully monitoring them. They were even sleeping and playing together.
Okay.
There was a day that both cats were playing and my cat scratched his cat. This was apparently my roommate's final straw, and he packed his bags and took his cat to his boyfriend's house and then moved into another apartment with him. I knew he wanted to move out and be with his partner, but no one would have had a problem with that. But he burnt his bridges with a series of angry, horrible texts about how selfish I am for adopting a cat after I promised almost 2 years before that I wouldn't adopt a cat. No regrets. I would die for this cat.
Firstly, the cat distribution system always works.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And secondly, like, they asked. Like, it's not like they just like showed up and was like, I found this garbage cat outside, and I'm not going to do proper introductions. I don't have all the equipment. I'm not going to take care of it. I'm just going to like throw this cat in here without talking to anybody. You said yes. Right. You can't be mad now and then be like, well, 2 years ago, which, who the fuck remembers that shit? Me. But 2 years ago, you said you weren't going to get a cat. Right. Okay. I didn't plan on it.
Well, and then they came in and like they made the effort to try to get it adopted, and they made that like they asked and said like, "Are you okay with this?" And everyone agreed. It sounds like they're mostly getting along. For them to fight,
and one got scratched. That happens.
Yeah, like you can't expect them to be perfect.
Also, they were playing, and one got scratched. It wasn't like there was a malicious fight, and like one took the other's ear off. It's like they probably were wrestling, and one of their claws got a little longer than it needed to, and it got caught. Like that happens.
Well, and to me, it just sounds like an excuse to like
why are we being so coy about like, you want to live with your boyfriend? Live with your boyfriend. Right. No one cares.
Right. Okay, I have 2 more short ones and then a long crazy one.
Oh, perfect.
But the 2 short ones are kind of crazy too.
Oh, good.
So, had this roommate in college. He was fined $7,000 for shooting an alligator on campus.
I'm sorry. Where are we?
And they did an investigation and searched our entire apartment. Campus security found 7 guns in his room, a bunch of prescriptions that didn't belong to him, and ingredients to make meth.
Jesus Christ.
Got moved to a different apartment because they had to detox hours. Moved off campus after that semester, LOL.
Who You know, I expect nothing less from a meth dealer.
Shooting an alligator.
Shooting an alligator. Several guns in your. Can you imagine? Like, your roommate? Because none of my roommates have been like that out. I mean, I've had some weird ones. Yeah. But like, if someone came home and was like, guess what I did today? And I'd be like, what?
Oh,
shot an alligator
on campus.
You did what?
Also, that means they had a gun on campus.
Yeah, they had a gun on campus.
Well, it sounds like they had 7 in their dorm or in their apartment.
I'm sorry. Also, don't you have to like very specifically shoot an alligator in like the back of the head to do anything? So you're just firing blanks at a literal dinosaur and hoping for the best. And then they're like, "Oh, I can't believe I got caught. I should keep all my meth making equipment here
and prescription drugs that don't belong to me.
What are we doing?" That's what they say. It's not always the smart ones that get caught. So
that's true. So that was a crazy one. This one made me chuckle. My roommate right out of college was super weird. He'd stand outside the bathroom whenever I went and would try to count the number of turds I was crapping out. If he thought it was a high number, usually 4 or more,
whoa,
he'd repeatedly tell anyone I brought over about it for the next week or so.
What is wrong with you?
I started using the bathroom at the McDonald's down the street just to get away from him.
Oh my God. Turn the faucet on. I mean, it'd be bad. Like, if I walked out and he was like, 3 turds. Nice. I would be like, oh my God. But I would never go to the bathroom then again without the faucet or the shower running.
If it happened once, that's it.
We're having a conversation. Do not.
How many times I poop?
Do not. If I'm in the bathroom, you do not need to be by the door.
Counting the splashes? 1, 2, 3. What if it's like...
He's like, that sounded... Or is it like a time thing? Because again, I don't know about you. I don't feel like when my turds hit the water, they're like making huge audible noises.
No. Well, and the thing is too, it could be little. It could be less piece. It could be less small in size, but more pieces.
Right. But yeah, dehydrated.
Big poop. You know?
This is the grossest thing. I
thought about this for too long after I read it.
Again, I go back to, I'm not trying to victim blame you, but like, turn music on when you're in the bathroom. Turn the faucet on. Turn the shower. Just sing to yourself.
Hear it with the door shut.
You got some splashers.
I'd count too.
He's in the living room, like way away from the bathroom. This is how it started. He was like, "Oh, I go to the bathroom, whatever," and all of a sudden you just hear a tsunami in the bathroom. You're like, whoa,
5! Wow,
5. That's a big. I'd be so upset though if like the next time we had a guest over, they were like, "This bitch shit 4 logs last Monday. Eat like a horse, shit like one too," you know? And it's like, oh my God. Why are we talking about this? I can't imagine, because you had to have a conversation with him like, hey, stop that.
Not cool.
And he was just like, meh.
Kept doing it. And then you said, turn the faucet on.
If he can still hear you with the faucet, something's wrong with your bowels. But if he...
Buy him some headphones.
Turn the faucet on.
House rule. You have to put these on when I go to the bathroom.
Right. Or, like, is it not necessarily a splash thing, but it's like, you were in there for 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That must have been at least a $5. You know, then that's a conversation of like, well, you're not really listening anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds like
you're just whipping out the stopwatch.
Ready, set, go.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, one more. This one to me was crazy.
Okay.
It says, I literally just moved out of this situation last month. The school recommended an older guy who lived right off campus. He's a pilot, so he's gone most of the time. I just had to take care of his parrot, but the parrot was, quote, very quiet. Turns out he was retired. So I moved in with a 65-year-old nut boomer and his fucking obnoxious parrot. No wife, no ex, no kids. He had obvious hatred of women, minorities, and homeless.
Perfect.
Post-retirement, he had no idea what to do with his life, so he would wake up, go to the gun range, come home, sit in his lazy boy, drink beer, and watch old movies the rest of the day. Then he goes into listing these transgressions.
Oh, no.
Number 1, during the first week, he told me he likes to walk around campus to look at all the cute young girls. Weird.
Sir, I didn't like you from the jump. I like you less now.
Number 2, the second week,
Second week? Uh-oh.
So the first week was when he was talking about the girls walking around. Second week, he says, I found a can of cat food in the fridge. Quote, hey, Jerry, why do you have cat food in the fridge? Quote, I found the neighbor's cat in the yard, and I can't have that with my parrot, so I'm trying to poison it. The last one I found in the garage, I beat with a baseball bat until it stopped moving. End quote. And the person replies, cool, cool.
Jerry!
Number 3.
Oh my God.
Told me I needed to keep the front door locked in the event, quote, someone breaks in and steals my weapon stash. And then his response was, bro, how many weapons do you have in this house?
How many weapons do you have to call it a stash?
I don't know. Number 4.
Oh, God.
Overheard a phone conversation where he was talking about wanting to drive around the cities shooting the homeless people to scare them away.
Ha! That's not scaring. That is just a crime.
And then the list goes on. And then someone responded, you went from saying the parrot was very quiet, and then you said he was retired, and my mind went straight to ex-parrot. And I assumed you were going to tell a story about being blamed for the man's parrot dying. And then the author wrote back, he kept a picture of his previous parrot on the mantle. He almost certainly would have killed me in my sleep if Joey, the current parrot, died.
This school needs to stop recommending this man as a roommate. Because, what the fuck?
That is wild.
I wouldn't have made it a week with him. No, I would have, because I would have tried so hard to make this work. And I would have immediately
I think after the cat poisoning, like the first one of him watching the girls is creepy 100%. I would have been like, I need to get out of here ASAP.
Yeah, I need to start
And
looking.
then once he said he's poisoning cats and he beat one to death in the garage, that would be, that's my eviction notice right there.
That's me finding a hotel.
I was somehow joining the homeless population. Hope Jerry doesn't fucking shoot me.
Oh my God. Yeah, sir. Jerry's unwell.
Jerry is unwell.
Jerry, I hope you die, because you're not well.
Mm-mm.
Oh my God.
So those are my fun Reddit roommate stories. And as I read them, I realized all my roommate stories, although annoying, were never that bad.
No, mine were so much more tame. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think, like, I can't compete with Jerry.
No.
Which is probably a good thing.
Well, and that's why I'm like, you know what? I can't complain then. Like, at least it's a good thing that I can't say that my roommate tried to kill something.
Yeah, no, I didn't have none of my roommates tried to kill anything.
Mm-mm. My biggest one I relate to probably was the, like, people being noisy while trying to study.
Yeah, I relate to that one a lot. I've had some, like, weird roommates, but I had one roommate, he bought a BB gun.
Ugh.
And what he would do is he set up a cardboard box at the end of we were in a duplex. So it was like 2 bedrooms and a bathroom, kitchen, living room downstairs. When you go upstairs, there's a bathroom and then 4 bedrooms.
Mm-hmm.
I was upstairs. Cool, great. He would stay on one end of the hallway by the bathroom, and he'd lay on the ground, and he'd set up a cardboard box on the other end of the hallway, kind of by my door. And he would shoot BB guns, like
inside?
BBs inside at this box. this man didn't realize that cardboard did not stop BBs.
No.
Put so many holes in our, like,
wall.
Well, we had a door there because it was a, like, closet.
Sure.
Put so many holes in the frickin' closet door. So then he decided not to shoot the gun in the house, to put pillows in the cardboard box so he could continue to shoot his gun. And I, every time, was like, what are we doing? And I had to go to an internship for, like, the semester. And I came back. You know how many freaking BBs were on my floor? Because they just rolled, you know, under my door. I was like, I'm going to kill you. I don't understand. Why are we shooting? I'm like, go somewhere.
Yeah.
Go anywhere. And he's like, no, it's fine. I'm like, go outside.
Why do you need to do that to pass your time?
He also never slept. Like, well, he did. But his sleep schedule, like, up till 5, 6 a.m. usually. And then he'd go to bed till about 1 in the afternoon. I'm like, my man.
That's unwell. You're unwell.
Like, let's figure this out. Let's do something different.
Mm-hmm.
I think the funniest roommate story I have, I have a few. But yeah, that was the most, like, well, my roommates never did dishes that year either.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd always be the first to crack because I don't know about you, wet, moldy dishes
I can't.
make me want to die.
Mm-hmm.
So I would finally crack and do them. But one time I did them, there was mold on half of the dishes because they'd been in the sink for so long, even though everyone was supposed to wash their own dishes.
Mm-hmm. Not happening.
They'd throw them in the sink and then leave. And the second time I did, I sliced my hand open because there was so much weight that we had shattered a glass at the bottom of the sink.
Oof.
And I was like, I'm going to bleed on all of you. This is your penance for me having to wash the dishes. One year I was with some roommates that, like, the way it was in lacrosse is you had to, like, sign up for a roommate super early in the year for the next year.
I never understood why they did that. That's just weird.
So you sign up with people after, like, a month of knowing them, and you're like, we're gonna be friends forever.
Well, and to me, it's like lacrosse. Like, it's a decent sized campus, but it's not like that big that they need to have it figured out like that early.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
it's insane.
You don't do that at Madison.
No.
It's just like probably the biggest campus in
the state.
in Wisconsin.
Yeah. But no, so I had to know by October who I was living with for the next school year. So I had signed with some girls who I got along with really good freshman year, and we still got along fine. We just weren't like super BFFs by the time sophomore year came. Well, one day I was in my lofted bed way up there. I was laying there, and one of these girls came in on the phone, and I went to sit up, and she started talking about, like, me and another girl, and it wasn't anything like scandalous, but I was like, oh, and so I, like, laid back down, and I was like, what am I gonna do?
Like, how do I
awkwardly be like, I'm here? So I laid there silently for like 20, 25 minutes.
Oh my God.
Until she finally got off the phone.
Was she still talking about you the whole time?
Not the whole time, but a good chunk of it. And it wasn't anything bad. She was just, like, updating her mom on like us. Sure. And, like, we had gone and done something at some point that she was recounting the story, which she recounted it very differently than I would have, but that's fine. So I, like, played like a wake up alarm on my phone. Pretended to, like, yawn, and I, like, stretched. She was like, oh my God! And I was like, she's like, have you been here this whole time? And I was just like, I was just taking a nap. How long have you been here? And she'd been there for the whole time, and I knew she'd been there the whole time, and I was so, like, it's been too long for me to be like, hey, I'm here.
Yes.
But at the same time, I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? Yeah, the most obnoxious, like, oh, stretch, oh, yawn.
Oh, God.
Oh, no, how long have you been here? And we both just, like, looked at each other, and I was like, so I have to be in agreement that you and I don't talk about this.
Yeah, no, God. Ugh. I don't think I had anything, like, I'm sure I had, like, awkward moments. I had awkward moments of, like, I don't know, just, like, living, you walking on people, just being in uncomfortable situations, you know, and, like, living in a suite. I lived in a suite, and Dan lived in a suite, so between the two suites, there was always, like, drama. Or like, and it usually was in the boys' suite.
Oh.
Or like just boys getting themselves into trouble. Like, it was always something.
Yeah. This was my sophomore year. I had moved halfway through the semester. Me and my good friend Sarah moved, and we were sharing a bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Like how our suites work was like room, bathroom, room on the other side. And we had moved in with these 2 freshman boys.
Yikes.
Who we shared the bathroom with. Our bathrooms would get clean if you like just took everything off of the counters.
Oh, really? So people came in and cleaned them for you?
Yeah, like every other week or something like that. Never. They would never take their shit off the counter, so our bathroom would never get cleaned. I was ready to kill them.
Oh, God.
I was like, take your shit off the counter!
All you have to do is put it away.
I'm like, just put it, I don't even care if you put it on the floor!
Right, they'll just wipe off the stuff then.
Oh, and they were the type of people who like never had a cap on their toothpaste, and they just looked like they squeezed it from the bottom.
I hate
and there was
that.
dried toothpaste everywhere. Oh, it drove me nuts. But, not kidding, like the first week we moved in, I am sitting on my futon, not like minding my own business. I get an airdrop request, and it is a picture of one of my suite mates, shirtless, in our shared bathroom, flexing in the mirror. I was like,
was he trying to airdrop it to his roommate?
No.
He was trying to airdrop it to you?
Yeah. And at the time I was in a relationship and all that too, and I remember like looking at my friend, I was like, and like
that could have been your chance, Emily.
Oh, it's alright, I'm okay. But I was like,
oh God.
And then I was like, well, I don't want to accept it because that's gonna be weird.
Mm-hmm.
But if I decline it, he's gonna know. I ended up declining it, and he like hardly talked to me after that.
I wouldn't talk to you either.
What do you want from me? To accept this shirtless photo of you literally 10 feet from me. In our shared bathroom, in our mirror that never gets clean because you refuse to take your shit off.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, yeah. There's that story that happened. There was another story. I was an RA for that one semester.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had like access to room keys and stuff, or like a master key. And my roommate Sarah thought it'd be a hilarious joke to like take a shit in the bathroom and leave our door open. So in the bathroom there's a stall.
Uh-huh.
She thought, oh, I'll be so funny and I'll stink out our room because she's a shithead. And so she's like, ha ha ha. We get a knock on our door. And it's one of our suite mates saying that he'd locked himself out. So he is like, hey, can I just cut through the bathroom real quick? And I was like, how do I say no? No. And I was like, and he's like, cool, thanks. And so he starts going, he hits the threshold of the bathroom door, and he goes, oh. And he sprinted. I sprinted through the bathroom, got to his room, slammed the door, and I was like, I'm so sorry.
I tried.
Sarah came out and laid on the floor. She's like, why would you let him do that? I was like, what did you want me to do?
I didn't have any choice.
I was like, it was too late. He was already there. Yeah, it was so funny. He stopped dead at like where our room went into the bathroom. But yeah, other than that, I think the airdrop, I was like, this is great. They also like, again, I was an RA, just like me outing myself a little bit. I think they smoked weed in our bathroom the first weekend, and I was like, are you kidding me?
Can you please stop?
I didn't call anybody, which was probably great, but I was like,
what you gonna do?
I couldn't smell it from outside the room.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'll let it go. It'll be fine. Yeah. I don't even remember. Isaac was one of their names. I think the other one was like Sean or something.
Makes sense.
Sean was the one that shirtless airdropped me, and I was like, Wah!
He would.
Sean! He also operated a clothing brand out of his dorm room.
Oh, I hate that. Wow.
What a guy.
Well, if you have any fun...
Do you not have any?
I don't have anything crazy. Like, literally, I think about...
I talked about a poop story.
Technically, it wasn't my roommate, but one of Dan's roommates sophomore year was like, they'd steal shit.
Yeah.
All the time. And so they ended up stealing this like 3-foot tall garden gnome. Like for like first or second weekend of sophomore year.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I'd spend the night at Dan's house, he would always like position it.
Ick.
So that it was staring at us. Like we'd wake up and it would be looking through like the bars of Dan's bunk, staring at us.
Oh.
Or it would like be posed interesting, or they'd like put a beer in its hand or whatever. It got so like scuffed. It chipped the tip of its nose off.
Oh.
Like,
poor gnome.
part of it was just beaten to shit. But we're like, you need to return that. Like those things are expensive. And so he ended up like the last weekend before summer vacation, like writing this letter of its like adventures through the year of like watching my roommate sleep and like going with the parties. And I rode him my adopted dad's razor scooter with him and like all this stuff. And then they returned it back home. And he like stayed to watch the like people's reaction, like hiding.
Yeah.
And they were like, he's like, they just looked mad.
Oh my god.
Because he wanted them to be so happy that their gnome was back, but they're probably just pissed.
Yeah. They're probably like, because I'm sure that gnome was expensive.
And then it went back and it's ruined.
Well, then it went missing, and you're pissed about it for it going missing. And you're probably a year out, you're like, it is gone forever. To then have it show back up, beaten to shit, and like, some college kid was like, have fun, my adventures as a gnome, and you're like, you fucked up my $400 gnome.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think I would also be like, that's kind of cool.
Me as a person getting my gnome back would be happy, but I can't blame the people who got the gnome back and were like, happy. This sucks.
I'd be happy, and I think it'd be kind of cute to see like that stupid little. I think the story would be funny.
I think so too. Like I would like put that out in my yard with pride. Like,
absolutely.
This is my gnome that went to college.
I put it out every year hoping it gets stolen.
Right? I think that's fun.
And then I can have like a picture book with it.
Oh! Can you imagine? We have so many pictures we could have sent them if they're like cool.
If you're like not going to report me to the cops, you could have got so many cool photos.
Mm-hmm. They made their Christmas card that year. They also stole this like light up snowman thing. They stole a bunch of road signs.
Love.
Which is not good. Also, I remember one of my roommates, she was going through like the community freezer or whatever. And from like the beginning of the school year, there's this whole chicken.
Oh God.
And she's just like, I really want to take that chicken, but I don't know how to cook like a whole chicken.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, and I don't want to steal people's food. But like every time, because she would put stuff in the community freezer or whatever. And she's like, almost every single day she'd go to the community freezer and the chicken was still there. Mm-hmm. And she just kept like going back and seeing this chicken. And she's just like, I really want to steal this chicken, but like I feel bad because I don't know how to cook a chicken. And so finally it was probably like March or something and it was still in there. She's like, I'm taking that chicken.
This chicken will be mine.
And she took it and she let it thaw, but she didn't realize it has all the like
the bones and
the guts and stuff on the inside, and you have to take
all
it out and whatever. And so she let it thaw and she's like, I can't do it. She's like vomiting, trying to scoop the insides out. She ends up getting it all out, cooked it, and it was cooked to shit. Like it was.
Oh, she like murdered it again, huh?
It was bad. And she's like, this was a lot of buildup.
To fuck up this chicken.
And then someone put a note on the freezer and was like, you owe me a chicken. And she's like, you had it in there since September. And I'm like,
you don't deserve it.
And of course she's a pusher, so she ended up like buying another chicken and putting it in there. She's like, that's the worst money I've ever spent in my entire life.
God. Why did I buy a whole chicken for like $4? Why don't you just buy a chicken?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, that's fine.
Yeah. So that happened. I remember freshman year, all the international students would always like cook downstairs. So we'd end up going down and like trying all their food. That was fun.
Oh.
We'd have like ping pong tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of fun.
We had a lot of volleyball tournaments. My freshman year, I lived right across the stairway,
mm-hmm.
and it was always a weird thing of like, you never shut your door.
Yes.
Until one time I was napping on my futon, didn't have the door shut. Why? Don't know. And some dude just like strolled in, woke me up off my futon.
Yes.
And said, you want to come play volleyball? And I went, okay.
I remember, so my freshman year, I had a roommate, and then she ended up moving. Oh, this is kind of a wild story. I don't know. See, some of my stories, there's just so much drama that I'm like, I don't know if I need to put this on the internet. But I'll put this on the internet. Okay. So I don't really talk to this person anymore. So my freshman year, I lived with this girl. And I knew of her from high school. Like, she went to like a school near us. Yeah, like in our conference. So like we played against each other in sports and things like that. So I knew of her, but I didn't know her.
Sure.
So we ended up meeting up prior to school, like prior to being roommates, when you did the whole like dating matchup, like whatever, like meet people similar to you. And it really seemed like we connected on like a lot of things. We went to a movie, we went to lunch, like we like definitely like got along, all was well. Yeah. And I was like, she had a high school boyfriend, I had a high school boyfriend, blah blah. Like it just seemed like all these things that worked out well, right? So we ended up moving in together, and a week in, like right away, she got super homesick. So her boyfriend came down the very first weekend and stayed with us, which is fine. But then he didn't leave. Oh. And so he stayed for a week, and he's like, oh, my school doesn't start for another week. So I figured like, oh, he just came up early, and then his school starts later, right?
Yeah. No.
Never went to school. And so then he was like living with us. Oh, Jesus. And I was like, when is he leaving? And she's just like, oh, well, he ended up dropping out of school. So he's just going to stay for a little while because he doesn't want his parents to find out that he dropped out of school. And I'm like, well, he can't just stay here. And she's like, well, it's just till like, and like when I had this conversation, it was like a Wednesday. She's like, he's going to stay till this weekend. This weekend we're going home, which she'd already planned to go home.
Right.
And she's like, and when we go home this weekend, he's going to tell his parents and he'll stay home. And I'm like,
I can make it to the weekend.
Like it's already been like 3 weeks.
Jesus. And dorms are small.
I don't want to like, what's 2 more days, right? Because it's Wednesday. Granted, at this point, she didn't want me to be in a room alone with him.
Oh, because we really have trust for our boyfriend.
And so like, if I walked in and he was there,
you had to like turn around.
I had to turn around and leave.
Oh.
So which I shouldn't have. I should have had the guts to be like, no, this is my room.
And you leave.
Right? And so then they go home that weekend. He comes back up on Sunday, and because he was going to school like 2.5 hours north of where we were, and like our school was on the way. And she's like, oh, he just came up today because tomorrow he's going up to move all of his stuff out of his apartment from like in Ely or whatever. Oh, Jesus. And I was like, okay. So then Monday he did leave. Good. And I was like, perfect. We did it. Everything figured out. She told me they went home. He told them he scrapped out of school. He just needed to go up and grab all the stuff. Perfect. Yeah. Comes back down.
Oh no.
Like on Tuesday, ends up staying for the rest of that week. And it was always like excuse after excuse. And I like didn't want to like
be hard on the line of like, get your shit and get out.
But then again, it's like, and so then I finished, I'm like, I live in here too. I'm not going to not be in here.
Yeah.
Because
you're here.
That same week, we were over at like our friends across the hall. And our friend was in her, like we were in her room. And it was like her and her roommate and me, and then my roommate and her boyfriend. And my friend comes down from the bathroom, like in a towel, and was like, hey, like ex-roommate's boyfriend, can you leave? I want to change.
Yeah.
And he's like, but you're going to change in front of all these girls? And she's like, well, I already changed in front of all of these people. Like, before. I don't care to change in front of them, but like, could you leave?
Yeah.
And my ex-roommate was like, well, he doesn't have to leave. And so she just like dropped her towel.
Oh! I would have been like,
and started changing because she's like, if you're not going to leave, I'm just
look at my giblets.
I'm just gonna change. My roommate got pissed and was like, you're trying to get my boyfriend to like you. You've had a crush on him this whole time. Like screams at her.
Oh.
And my friend's like, I told him I needed to change. And he refused to leave.
I shouldn't have to leave my room and go to the bathroom to change. This is my room. Get out. Which is like, go off.
Preach.
Go off. And so then that all happened. Come to all this, whatever. I finally went to my RA and was like, she won't leave. Or he won't leave. Like, whatever. So they ended up moving her down the hall, and she had her own room.
Why didn't they kick his ass out?
And so that's what I said. They ended up kicking him out, but then she kept bringing him back.
Oh, God.
Because like he'd leave, but then he'd come back, and he'd leave, and he'd come back, whatever. All this is like, the first night I slept alone in my room after my roommate left. She always locked the door every night. Like we'd leave it open, but she'd always lock the door at night.
Oh no!
And I never thought about it. And so I was in bed, and I had a lofted bed, and it's probably like 1 or 2 in the morning,
right?
And I hear the door open, and I just figured it was her. Like, oh, I forgot, whatever, because she hadn't completely like moved everything out. So I figured she just came. And she realized, and she like tried the door and realized it was unlocked, so just came in or something. I don't know. I didn't think about it too much because I'm like waking up from sleep. It's this guy. He starts taking off his pants. He's taking his keys out. He's putting his whatever on the table, and I'm like, "What? Who are you?" And he screams, and he's like, "What are you doing in my room?" And I'm like, "What are you doing in my room?" And he's like, "This is my room." I'm like, "No, it's not." And he looks around, and he's like, "Shit,
no, it isn't.
Where am I?" And I'm like, "This is room 323." And he's like, oh, I live in 423. Oh. He's like, so he went to the wrong. And he's like pulling up his pants. And he's like, "I'm so sorry." And I knew who he was. Like, we went on a small campus. I remember. And at this point, I was trying to still be civil with my old roommate because she was friends with a lot of our friends, whatever.
Yeah.
And so I remember the next day telling me, "I didn't realize how important it was that you locked the door because the man came in and I thought it was you and he was taking off his pants." And she's like, "Oh my God." Needless to say, a month after she moved out, she broke up with her ex-boyfriend, and she's like, "He was crazy and just was like using me." And I'm like, "Oh shit, really?" It was a wild freshman year.
That is crazy. Perks on your roommates. Your across the halls roommate who just dropped towel.
Yeah,
that is something I would do in my like.
I was watching it happen, and I was like, "Wow,
you're incredible."
I was impressed.
Yeah, because
I had been living, and I think part of it was like she knew how frustrated I was.
Sure,
and so she's like, "I was trying to stand up for you," and like by flashing us.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, if you ever want to hear more of our hunting college stories, I've got plenty more.
And if you have any good ones, send them our way and we'll read them. We can keep you anonymous if you want.
Yeah, we'll keep you whatever. We'll see. We will be with you guys next week. If you like the microphones, also let us know.
Yeah, hopefully this all worked well.
God, fingers crossed.
52 minutes later.
32 minutes later. We will see you all next week.
Bye.